Guten Abend. Es freut mich ja doch sehr, dass einige von Ihnen den Weg in die Kunsthalle im Museumsquartier heute Abend gefunden haben, obwohl es ja doch sehr schönes Wetter ist und wir das ja noch nicht so lange haben. Herzlich willkommen. Wie Sie sehen, diejenigen von Ihnen, die die Kunsthalle Wien in den letzten Jahren immer wieder besucht haben, sehen vielleicht, dass sich hier, wir sind im Moment zur Zeit und eigentlich auch noch einige Zeit im Renovierungsprozess. Ja, von hinten und dort sehen Sie Tageslicht. Das gab es eigentlich hier 12 Jahre nicht. Sie sehen es ein bisschen. Ja, worum geht es heute? Die heutige Diskussion. Bitte? Yeah, if you would improve the acoustic, I think the standard should make a huge fundraising campaign for the Kunsthalle Wien. Naja, die heutige Diskussion, I will change later into English, also die kleine Introduction in Deutsch. Die heutige Diskussion widmet sich der Bukarest Biennale, ihrer Geschichte und ihrer Verortung in der rumänischen Kunstszene. Der Schwerpunkt auf der nächsten Biennale, der Bukarest Biennale der BB6, soll auch Gegenstand heute werden. Ich bin auf die Fragen von Frau Schurian sehr gespannt. Ich werde die Bukarest Biennale als Kurator verantworten. Die beiden Herren werden, die neben Frau Schurian sitzen, ich stelle sie gleich vor, werden mit Sicherheit auch etwas darüber erzählen, warum sie gerade mich ausgewählt haben. Das ist ein bisschen blöd, über sich selbst zu sprechen hier. Und ich möchte Sie gleich darüber informieren. Sie sehen, angekündigt waren waren insgesamt 7 Personen auf dem Panel. Aber wie es so ist, die beiden, die eigentlich in Wien verortet sind, Georg Schöllhammer hat eine SMS geschickt, dass er familiär verhindert ist, und Vita Samann, die künstlerische Leiterin der Vienna Fair, kommt aus Jobgründen nicht aus Berlin weg. Das ist quasi von ihrem Arbeitgeber etwas festgehalten. Ja, Gabriel Kohn darf ich zunächst vorstellen. Er ist das richtig, der stellvertretende Direktor des Rumänischen Kulturinstituts, und er packt seine Sachen, habe ich eben gehört. Er ist seit 4 Jahren in Wien. Und Frau Schurian hat auch eben bemerkt, dass, ich habe das natürlich noch nicht so mitbekommen, dass ein sehr aktives Programm vom Rumänischen Kulturinstitut für Wien und für Österreich geleistet wird. Und das ist wirklich auch beachtlich, das interessiert, das wäre auch gleich eine Frage mal an Sie, wie Sie das überhaupt finanzieren, weil Rumänien dann zu seiner rechten sitzt Razvan, der Co-Founder der Bukarest Biennale. In der Mitte Frau Schurian, die den Abend moderieren wird. Diese Veranstaltung findet im Rahmen der Standard-Talks statt. Standard-Talks, wie Sie wissen, gibt es ja einige, und die Kunsthalle schätzt sich sehr glücklich, eine Reihe von Standard-Talks in den nächsten Monaten gemeinsam mit dem Standard auch weiterhin zu verantworten. Und Eugen, forgive me, Radescu, der andere Co-Founder der Bukarest Biennale. Schönen Abend.
Now we switch to English. Nicolaus Schafhausen, personal union of guest, host and subject of discussion, because we will talk about the Bukarest Biennale, the 6th Bukarest Biennale, for sure. And my first question would be to you two. Why was it so important to have in Bucharest a biennale? There are hundreds of biennales around the world. Why was it so important to add one more to the world? And I think you should take your mic. Yes, now you give one back to Mr. Schafhausen. Yeah. Who has...
Does anyone want the mic to... Okay. This question was raised since 7 years ago. Why not? Why not? If there is 100 biennials, can be 101, right? But on the other hand, Bucharest, you have to remind something. It's the only biennial in Southeast Europe. So not only Bucharest, but also East Europe needed a biennial, major event. But to be honest, I strongly believe if we conceptualize too much how we started the biennial, it will be a lie. We just started because we wanted to. We needed to, for us. Personally, we felt Bucharest, which we love. It's like, for me, it's like Berlin of East Europe. It's not a city to visit, it's a city to live in. It's a city to stay, to have fun, to see different things, to socialize, I don't know. So it's, we strongly believe Bucharest needed this kind of event. On the other hand, the biennial gives the people a push to see the city more, because it's spread around the city. So I think was needed, we wanted, and I think we should continue. But we had a very long academical debate about the existence of the biennials 2 editions ago with a lot of historians, and the idea is the biennial could be important for, if it is done for the city. If it is another major art event which is just parachuted in the city, that doesn't matter. But if it helps the city and the inhabitants, then it counts. On the other hand, to talk with Jacques Rancière, if the aesthetical becomes political, that means Bukarest Biennale should continue.
So maybe I should reset and introduce you, because your career didn't start by founding the biennale. You were photo artist, political activist, theorist, scientist, and curator. Many of these professions.
Professor at the academy. That's the most important thing about my life.
Mm-hmm. And most of your biographical notes are quite the same. Photo artist, political activist, and political scientist, theorist, curator, and co-founder. And you also were the first curator of the Bukarest Biennale.
Yeah.
We will then talk about the link or the connection between Vienna and Bucharest in any way, maybe now through Mr. Schafhausen and his job here at the Kunsthalle. But what were your first issues on planning?
We started the first biennial was in 2005, and yeah.
And I also have to reset, because before you founded the biennale, you founded a photography platform, internet platform for photography.
Yeah, actually, very briefly, we started everything like 13 years ago with a very small website. Mm-hmm. It was called Art Photo, and we published only this kind of photography and new media installation art or artworks. And then we decided to print in a way that, because we really love print things, and we decided to print the magazine. And in 2001, I think, Razvan, yeah. In 2001, we released the first issue of the magazine, which is called Pavilion. And in 2005, we decided to do a biennial, but it was a very local and very subjective choice. And it was quite funny, because for the first biennial, the press conference, we had like 20 journalists from Bucharest. And now we end up last year with more than 400. And we grow up very naturally in a way, and this is a good thing, I think. And in terms of what kind of problems we had, like a lot. I mean, we didn't have a real budget, financial, politically, because you don't have any support from the state. And in 2005 was the same situation like now. And it was like, a lot of...
The state was not supporting, or was supposing and opposing?
Not necessarily opposing. The problem with the state basically is that they really don't understand what contemporary art is.
I think the Romanian state, I mean, the Romanian government doesn't understand anything, so.
Yeah, at least contemporary art doesn't understand. I mean, we have this kind of modern museums, modern galleries and so on, this kind of very communist association of artists and so on, but still they are not so open to this kind of very contemporary forms of artistic practice and so on. So it was quite complicated. But still, it's a non-profit and very, it's a non-profit organization that we have, and is, in a way, is like our own company. You know, if we have like the power to do it, we will do it. If not, we can just quit everything and that's it.
So it's your own company. You raise the money.
It's like a cultural association. We raise the money. We raise the money. We do the budget. We have to.
There's no big money behind.
No, we don't have any. No.
So, what about the politics?
Well, to put it this way, I think politics. I don't think we need more politics in the cultural field. I think these days we need actually less politics in it, or cultural politics which is more discreet, which is more silent, which does more action in the back and not in the front. If I'm not mistaken, the public funding of the biennial in Bucharest is 0.8% of the budget.
In almost 15 years.
In almost 15 years.
But we have to say, because you are director of Romanian Cultural Institute, the only state institution who really helped us was Romanian Cultural Institute, not necessarily Vienna, I mean, generally speaking, in different other cities as well. So we have to acknowledge the fact, Romanian Cultural Institute, and by representation by the director here, they helped us. This was the only one. And it's very interesting in a very hard and complicated way, because Romanian Cultural Institute should not support the projects inside of the country, only to promote the culture outside the country. Yes. So they try somehow to help. Yeah, I mean, in a way, Romanian Cultural Institute did a very interesting run around to help us, but was the only one. And that 0.8, it's from Romanian Cultural Institute.
In this case, in the case of this cooperation or future collaboration between the Kunsthalle and the biennial in Bucharest, 2014, I hope that the Cultural Institute will assume a more active role, since there are some plans to link the two institutions and to somehow put to build some kind of forward operating base here in Vienna of the biennial, but I think Mr. Schafhausen and the directors of the biennial here should tell us more about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should tell us more, because when I wanted to do some research, I was looking at the homepage, and there's almost nothing except the fact that you're the new curator. So where does the journey go? Do you already know what you want, what you will do there?
I think this isn't there is no theme announced yet. It's something to do with the nature of biennials. If you even look into how the biggest biennial worldwide, the Documenta, is announcing, 3 years or one ahead only the city of Kassel. It's never about the content. It's always about attention economy, which I find, this is all the biennials which I didn't know that there are 100 or 101 or 150.
No, I was just kidding.
It's a very interesting, thinking what are biennials worldwide. And it doesn't matter if it's a biennial with 40 million, 20 million, or a million, or a zero budget, like the Bukarest Biennale. It's more, spotlight politics. Yeah, it's even if that exhibition, the biennial in Bucharest, won't happen, we are going to discuss it already now. What is looking into this, what is happening there. What is Romanian art in general? It's not about which artist is participating in that specific biennial, but we, for me, this is also why I agreed to already 1.5 years ago to do this biennial, because it's somehow rock and roll, and really, it's rock and roll and doing research in an area which I personally don't know so well. That is and it opens up, and of course I'm a bit instrumentalizing the Kunsthalle Vienna in terms of, but I would have done it also before running it. I used to run another institution in the Netherlands, if I would have been there still. Of course, it's in a way, it's about which kind of responsibility do we have as cultural workers in wealthy countries? Austria belongs to a wealthy country, and this is the opposite. But do we have a responsibility as a member of the European community, and not financing, but promoting, even just with attention economy, those areas? And I think we do. Yeah.
Yes,
I
found out something. The topic you're working on for the biennial will be belonging and longing, and I thought it's very actually like you would speak about what's happening today. Northern Europe, Southern Europe. Southern Europe is the longing, Northern Europe is the belonging. Is that also kind of what you were thinking about?
Yes and not. So of course, yeah. It's a very, I think that is something that's in that being working as a curator, working as an artist, working in that field, we always, or that's probably also the art and the art movements, the different ones of actual art. This is a question which all artists and cultural workers ask themselves: where do we belong to, and where do we belong to? It's somehow even a contradiction. It's quite interesting. So, and then I was looking up. Okay, there is not a lot of money, but there are many ways, of course, planning a biennial. So it can be even a biennial where we only show themes or ideas. It's all about ideas. And there are possibilities of organizing conferences, symposia, and etc. The topic of belonging, it was first belonging. I think this is one of the most important questions nowadays in contemporary art, and the production of contemporary art at that very moment, especially in Europe. It's not first southwest, east, southwest, north, and etc. But it's more, where do we belong to? If you look into the financial crisis, it's, where does money belong to? And then, secondly, one of my very first paid job. It's almost 20 years ago. I used to work for the German Foreign Ministry, for the Association Institute for Foreign Affairs. For more than 2 years, I was responsible for organizing conferences about art development in East and Middle Europe. And me, as a German, West German, but now after 1989 becoming a German, before I was a West German, I became a German. I'm also a little bit East now, which is very strange. Born as a West, but then I became a little bit East. It was extremely interesting. Traveling around, it was not South East, as Romania was not that, but I organized about 10 different huge conferences, partly together with the Soros foundations, which are not existing anymore. Really looking into what happened there, and this belonging. And longing was already a topic then, but they had much more money at this time. So, and the Western European countries funded certain developments much better than they do now. And now we are in a financial crisis. But of course you're right. And it's a crucial question for artists. With all the artists I was talking so far about this topic, theme, and about Bucharest, they agreed. So that means I continue with this concept.
I hope the acoustics is better in the audience than it is here. I can hardly understand you. I think this is... Do you understand him well? Yeah, okay. Okay, good. There's also a question of individuality and nationality. Is that also a part of this big topic? Nationality, individuality.
It's embedded in those, of course, but that goes back to the individual artist, not necessarily. But when I thought about what can we do as a collaboration with Vienna, it's more about responsibility. Huh? So why shouldn't we, which we are not going to do, but why shouldn't an institution like the Kunsthalle Vienna, but I could replace it with almost any other institution of its size in Europe, why shouldn't we organize or even pay, and we're not going to pay for Bucharest, but even pay an exhibition in another country where contemporary art and actual art, it's almost invisible in daily life.
So Kunsthalle will become kind of spin-off of Bucharest?
Yeah, for a couple of months. Yeah, but it could be also somewhere else.
Maybe it's, if you don't mind, we have to be a little bit more precise for our audience. First, to say something about our organization. First of all, we started as theoreticians, not as a photo artists. I was graduated at Universitat van Amsterdam, so I was not educated in Romania because a minor beat me up and I ran out from the country. So in a way, I have to say thank you to the minors for that. But it's a very long history, it's 20 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago. All of us here, Nicolaus, Eugen, me, Gabriel, all of us are professors at university. Maybe less people knows about Gabriel Kohn. He's a professor of Germanistic at Timișoara, at the University of Timișoara.
Not in Timișoara, but you taught in Vienna also.
I wanted to say Timișoara because I am a promoter of Timișoara's European capital, cultural capital.
There. He teaches at the university in Timișoara.
So it's a kind of like the sponsor time. Timișoara is Romania. Vote for them. And the other thing is, we have to say we have three, how we call it, instruments of critical thinking. It's a magazine we started, which is called Pavilion, magazine for politics and culture. So I strongly believe politics has to do with arts and culture, but not in terms of political parties. In terms of ideology and the way of creating debates in an exhibition space or in discursive spaces. We have a Contemporary Arts Center, which is a space where we have exhibitions. It's a small one, and the Biennial. So it's a very weird organization in a way, which started from zero. How we appoint the curator, and we have to say this about Nicolaus Schafhausen, because some will think we appointed the director of an institution. He was on the way leaving Vite de Vite when we appointed him. We didn't know he will become the director of Kunsthalle Vienna. We appointed Nicolaus Schafhausen because he's a very political curator. That's the first choice we do for the biennial. We don't care about the reputation, even the reputation of Nicolaus Schafhausen is a huge one. But we wanted to appoint a very political curator to make a very strong statement.
So this comes back to my first question. How important was the biennial in Bucharest? It was a political statement.
It is a political statement. It's still a political statement, of course, a social and political statement. Bucharest is everything about politics. I mean, in terms of, we don't do that kind of aesthetical, decorative arts. We don't care about that. If we are not involved in the society, if we don't do in terms of Deleuze and Guattari's molecular revolution, why we should do art? We can do whatever we want. We can paint our kitchen. We can do something else. So this is why we appointed Nicolaus Schafhausen, and then it comes very interesting. He becomes the director of Kunsthalle Vienna, Austria having a very historical relation with Romania, I mean, even colonizing us in a way. During the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But beside that, in the very contemporary time, maybe you know, Austria has...
So Mr. Schafhausen is not Viennese. That should not be the topic.
He's German anyway, so... no, but Austria has a very...
Colonizing.
No, I'm just kidding about colonizing in terms of... I mean, it was only a part of Romania. We know the history. But it's just... I was just joking. And we have a very good relationship with all the representatives of Austria in Romania, starting with the ambassador and last director of the Forum Austria, Karin Cervenka, which was an extraordinary person. And of course, I don't know if so many people knows, 29% of the Romanian economy is owned by Austrian companies. That's very interesting aspect also.
It's visible, I have to say. So
yeah,
if you go, it's unbelievable. If you go there, I thought, where are the shops or banks which really belong to this country? Yeah, that is, all the supermarkets, or most of the supermarkets, not first banks, the supermarkets. I was living in Brussels for almost 10 years, and Deleuze, yeah, unbelievable. You find there the same food, same prices.
So you were first appointed curator and then director of the Kunsthalle.
Yeah.
But this connection or access or whatever one calls it couldn't develop then. So I mean, you were curator and then director. But
but I was not announced as a curator.
But you speak about the link between Vienna and Bucharest. So.
I said this is a very, very welcome link. Mm-hmm. So I said, oh my God! And I have already a project for 2014, not a huge project for the Kunsthalle Vienna, not one of the where we can invest a lot of money, but we can invest responsibility, and yeah, I thought that was also was fantastic. There is already a little bit of possible content. Yeah.
So you started to talk about the Brancusi effect?
Yeah, the Brancusi actually was Brancusi effect idea came immediately after they asked me the two of them to do this biennale, even if it wouldn't be in Vienna. That is, the Brancusi as an artist who is Romanian. Sorry for Brancusi, you should. Yeah, Brancusi. Yeah. Yeah, this is new to me as well. An artist who got still so instrumentalized by so many artists, institutions, museums. It was never, and his acknowledgement or his reputation in Romania, which I learned already before you pointed me, was almost zero, which he got instrumentalized only in 1991. Yeah, I think that is so interesting. This is really, he made his career, he always said that he belonged to this country, but he made his career outside the country. Yeah? This is very interesting to me. Yeah. And you can, if you look, but it's not only in Romania, also in other Eastern European, Southeastern European countries, so many young people, and this is exactly what you were talking about. So artists, especially artists, want to work, want to leave this country and to work, to have a market somewhere else or to grow into a market. This is, from Austrian people don't move so easily, or Germans from their countries. And that, I think it's already more political quite often what they produce.
I mean, if we talk about nationalities, I mean, why we have to talk about that today? I mean, we too much discussed that in the history. I mean, even, I strongly believe today we have to surpass this idea of national, so strong national belonging and become more you know, communicate more.
I agree. But belonging longing has nothing to do with nation.
I know.
Yeah.
I was kind of connecting to the question of nationality.
But you said before that you will show mostly Romanian artists.
That's the idea.
That's the idea.
At this very moment.
So you have to collaborate with the two of them very intensely, because I don't know, or question is, do you know the Romanian art scene that well?
I've been to Romania, and not only for one time, and it's quite, you know, after this announcement, I don't know how many emails I got already from Romanian artists living wherever, from Australia to, it's again, this attention economy, and they announced me via, what was it, eFlux or eArt Now, and through all that channels, also through Facebook and all the social media, I could easily, but I won't do it only, easily choose already from a pool of a couple of hundred young artists born between 1985 or 1975 and 1985. It's for me, it's also a research tool for the Kunsthalle, probably for further exhibitions. In my very first exhibition here, which I'm responsible for, not the Thomas Bernhard, for the Salon der Angst, there is one artist, Florin Mitror, which you know, which was completely unknown to me. He died 10 years ago, about, or 8 years ago. He will play kind of an important role in this exhibition, even if it means I learned something. Now I have that already, this huge pool, and lots of, it's a lot is happening virtually, you know, you get into discussion with a lot of people already. Yeah, but they won't be responsible for the selection of the artists.
When you appointed him, then you talked about it public. How long did you discuss about longing, longing as?
The way that we choose the curator is a very simple one. I mean, we are the directors of the biennial, and we just choose a curator, and the curator is in charge with the concept. Basically, we don't have any, I mean, we don't have so many...
So, but it's your concept.
No,
and he has to fulfill it.
No.
The opposite.
The opposite.
We have nothing to do with the concept and the selection of the artists. We are co-founders, we are co-directors, we have a board, which is a hidden one, it's not a public one, formed by theoreticians and former curators of the biennial. We advise with them, we came out with 3-4 curators which can respond to the needs, not to our needs, but to needs of the city we love and we live in. And then we talk, I mean, what we believe, of course, and then the decision is done by me and Eugen. So we decided, the last curator was Anne Barlow, was a British-American curator, before was again a German curator, yeah, Felix Vogel, was a Hungarian curator, Zsolt Petrani. So now we have a German curator living in Austria, so it will be very interesting, even connecting to the German language speakers. I mean, Switzerland, Austria and Germany, we had a very interesting connection all the time. Yeah.
Economically.
And I think it's important that to say we don't have anything to do with the concept, but we help the curator with the infrastructure of the biennial in terms of budget, in terms of spaces where he can exhibit the artist, and also to connect the curator better with the Romanian art scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But we have to, I mean, any biennial is working in a way like this. Of course, we have a very small team, and the financial status is completely different. If the Berlin has 2 million euro, we have like 100,000 euros, so it's completely radical different. But or 4 million at Istanbul Biennale and so on, or 40 million at Documenta, 20 million at Documenta. Okay, it's it depends on the level, but the fact is usually, I mean, it helps. We are theoreticians, and I think it's the only biennial who has directors as theoreticians. not people which are connected to the business area. It's very interesting also.
Now that you look from outside, how is it for your work having the biannual in Bucharest? Does that have any impact on what you're doing on your program here in Vienna?
It has a huge impact, actually, on two levels, actually. First of all, I have to stress it's my personal opinion, my conviction that the independent artistic sector in Romania has grown a lot in the last years and developed some management skills which surpass by far the management skills in some public institutions. So for me, for instance, as a cultural institute in Vienna, it was always a privilege to work together with artists and to deal with projects coming from this, you may call it independent or non-affiliated or let's say simply genuine artistic milieu. Simply because they had the self-managing skills, they had the professionalism we needed to promote them adequately outside of Romania, internationally. So it's not only a reservoir of artistic talents, of names, of exhibitions, of artworks, and so on. Institutions like the biannual are very, very, very reliable partners for us. And so it helped a lot. This is the way we could, for instance, initialize a very, very good collaboration with the Kunsthalle. Also last year, you can see the product of this in the open space nearby the Kunsthalle. I mean the work of Daniel Knorr, for instance. This is the way how we could collaborate very well with the MUMOC last year amidst the exhibition reflecting fashion. There were a few Romanian positions, and we had the privilege to, in some way, support them. Again, we had our only job was to support them, not to stay in their way, because the way they do initiate projects and fulfill them is already absolutely professional and absolutely reliable. Simply putting it simply, it's a huge help for us. Again, all we have to do is not stand in their way.
Maybe the Romanian government should stay in our way with some millions of euro. I mean,
meaning this, I was referring to supporting it effectively.
But beside the fact, of course, the Romanian Cultural Institute has very limited power, so people has to understand it's not the Romanian, it's not a financial institution which can really help the biennial. That should be done by the city council and especially the government, that means the Ministry of Culture. Of course, the Romanian Cultural Institute should help in any way, but do you think this is, I mean, that's just talking, of course, but and you are at the end of your mandate, right? And the new director of the Romanian Cultural Institute in Bucharest, the president is called, he's not really very loved because he destroyed many things. But so when we...
I think it would be quite difficult for Mr. Kurator to answer.
No, but you know, no, I didn't want to ask him because he didn't appoint the director, the president of Romanian Cultural Institute in Bucharest. I mean, everybody is against him. We have a petition of 10,000 people asking for his resignation. It's a very long story, but it's not about that. He's here from the period of the last director, so the last president. The idea is, do you think this idea about contemporary art will change at the level of the government? I mean, in terms of, let's say, theoretical, because of course you cannot know, but they don't really acknowledge we exist. Even if we have been everywhere in the world, everybody knows Bukarest Biennale, everybody knows about Romanian contemporary art. They don't acknowledge and they don't support it.
I think my previous answer did touch this issue. The experience of the last decade showed that the most successful initiatives in the field of contemporary arts in Romania are grassroots initiatives, are independent initiatives, managing themselves and being clever enough to get the funding they can get. So I don't have to be a prophet or a very clever person to say that contemporary art is still struggling in Romania. At the same time, I think your example shows how an organic growth of a
I was
project.
afraid about that.
Yeah.
If someone will say, "Oh, you did it, so you don't need the money." So
not
you
only,
can-
no. This is, I think this is a way of being more present in the public space, more visible, influencing more the shape of a city like Bucharest. And I will put you a question: do you feel like belonging, that biennial belongs to the present portrait of Bucharest?
So we were talking, or you are talking about the political acceptance. How is the public acceptance?
The public acceptance. Let's say we had 51,000 visitors. This for Romania, it's a lot, so I don't know what else to answer. I mean,
This, maybe. That was a good answer. I mean, this is what I was asking for.
In terms of public, I mean, but sure, Bucharest had a lot to earn from the biennial. The problem is...
Because I was looking a lot whether there were critics, reviews, that kind of thing, and I was not very successful in finding lots of it, except many Romanians, which I do not understand, some English, and then it was. So this is why I asked, how is the acceptance? Because I can't read Romanian, so I don't know what was written in the articles.
I think if we count, I don't know, The Guardian, New York Times, International Herald Tribune, New Turkish Zeitung, Die Tageszeitung, whatever, I don't know, all the big newspapers wrote about this. The problem in Romania is we don't have art critics. So the problem is not so many people write really critics. I'm a professor of critical thinking, so it's very complicated. On the other hand, everything was positive, but I don't know if I can take positive a thing which is warm, not hot or not cold. So the Romanian journalism dropped for a while. I mean, this is what the society is now. It's like ghost carp. It's on the bottom, and now we try to raise up again. In the Christ was a very big hit. But if you take the critics from the Art Forum or I don't know, Freeze, the newspapers which are in Europe, yeah. I think it was a good response. On the other hand, the Romanian public was responding well, much better. Even we thought it would be less visitors, but it was a lot. So I think it, of course, for a 3 million people city, it's not so many people, but they are not used to go to contemporary art since we don't have this kind of institutions, and the contemporary art was growing. But in the same time, a lot of institutions disappear for lack of supporting. So the Romanian government has taken this kind of blood of the institution on their hands. I mean, they are very interesting institutions. They disappeared, they died because they didn't care about that. So,
engaging the city with a global context is one of the buzzwords on their homepage that could be used for any biennial, which makes it so special for Bucharest.
Yeah, it's, of course, could be a sentence for any biennial, but still, we did this biennial in 2005 with the idea to have an event dedicated to the city. And when you are coming in Bucharest, you'll see very quickly that it's a very hard and tough city to live in, starting with the how you find a place to park your car, how you can bike on the streets. It's very eclectic, very chaotic, and so on. And the first edition of the biennial was created by me, it was very romantic and so on. But the second edition, created by Joel Petrani, was on this exactly point of the this specific part of Bucharest, chaotic. And it was that the theme of the biennial was chaos, the age of confusion, with like a dedication to the city. So what we have basically is to Bucharest to be the main part of the subject of the biennial. I mean, to be the concept to be in a way related to the city and to the real life of Bucharest. So.
I see in the public one journalist who I think visited every biennial in the world within the last years, and I think that it might be quite interesting having her saying something about the Bukarest Biennale, whether she saw it or not. No? So, you saw 100, but that one not. Okay. I come back to one question I wanted to ask you. You know that it's a very delicate question. You know that your predecessor had quite problems because of his sideline jobs, and what might be discussed as well in this case is the job here and the curating job at the biennial. So this is why I wanted to ask you now to talk about what is the advantage for Vienna, because I think we have advantages here because of this.
I think you had the Matt would have never been so successful without his international reputation, and of Vienna even wouldn't have been so successful in the field of contemporary art without if he wouldn't have done jobs beside or attending conference. What is a side job? Actually about all this I only heard when I arrived here, and it's not part of my, I don't see a conflict of, it's not, it looks like a conflict of interest for the public, So I'm also not going to control people working at the Kunsthalle, what they are doing on their computer, dealing with any stocks or whatever, It's easy to criticize it because everything what I'm doing or what my colleagues are doing or what you are doing, it's public, So it's so, that is when you as a public figure. It sounds strange, but it's true. You get controlled, and everything what you do and else, which is not just centered to that what you do. It's always wrong. What should I say? That if I only would work 40 hours for the Kunsthalle would die. That is, I think, this.
No, I wanted to come back to the Brancusi.
No, but it's of course what it means. An example. It's a lot of research. What I'm doing, indirect and direct research, because I get a lot of emails or catalogs, whatever, and I meet a lot of people, and that has an impact in the further programming, not necessarily only to the biennial. Also for the Florin Mitroy, it's a very good example for me. He will be in the exhibition. It's already. Of course, it could happen also. Or exchange programs, cultural exchange programs, will hopefully develop in the future. Not only with Romania, it opens also sideways to other countries in that region. And then for me, and I said it also in a very early interview. Vienna, for me, belongs more to this part of Europe than to West Europe, and I think we have to go a little bit into this. It's also, and again, I think I want to open up the discourse about what is responsibility a little bit. I know you call it delicate, and I know it's delicate, but But this, and which we all know, for Gerard Matz, it was he was right to do it, huh? As far as I know. Yeah.
Also, reputational-wise, I think for Kunsthalle Vienna it will be a good thing. And we have to remind something. Joel Petrani was not a director of any institution, and when he became, during curating the biennial, the director of Kunsthalle Budapest, then was Anne Barlow, who became the director of art in general in New York, and
so we will see who will be the next curator, and we will look for an empty Kunsthalle, and a Kunsthalle with no director, and he will be the next director of any Kunsthalle.
I think the next curator should be a Romanian one.
No, but it's a
so let's hope for a Kunsthalle Bukarest.
Can I add something, to your? If you look into who is doing the Istanbul Biennale, or at the moment, or the Venice Biennale, the Venice Biennale is the so-called curator in large, the chief curator, which is kind of the same position I'm holding here, of the new museum in New York. Caroline Bargiev Christoph used to be, when she got appointed and she held her position in ruin. That is, there is no curator, and it would make also no sense, who has an international career, who is not somewhere else employed.
I think it's sufficiently answered.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So, no, but for the audience probably not. No, thank you.
He was talking about not, or he was asking for not talking about nationality as to artists. Nevertheless, what is so special on Romanian art that you said you really want to show mainly Romanian artists wherever they live in the world, but it should be mainly Romanian artists?
Well, I'm not talking about the dead ones now. Huh? So the younger ones, it's a pleasure to learn about at the moment. They have to produce their work with almost a zero budget. So there isn't, it's more about delivering and having ideas what those artists do at the moment. It's not necessarily about the artwork itself. It's about the construction, it goes back to that question, what is art? What is a piece? Yeah. And it doesn't have a market value. A lot of things what I have seen so far, you can't show it at the Vienna Art Fair. It's impossible, because there is only, it's an idea. I find it amazing. Yeah. This is also completely different, yeah, to a country like Austria, where there's a lot of production. Our artists produce. Yeah. But do they produce ideas, or do they produce artworks? Yeah. And I'm quite interested in, personally also, in that producing ideas. And I think this is also, hopefully, it will be interesting for a broader audience. That, coming back to your question, how indirectly you were asking about the visitor numbers. The popularization of contemporary art in your region of Europe, it's just not existing. What we have, if you look, how popular art, also as an economical factor, is for a country like Austria, and for tourism and marketing the country itself. This is just not existing there. Ukraine is similar, by the way. It's if you, or Bulgaria.
So we are focusing the special area and pointing out the difference also.
Yeah. But there live a lot of artists, and or wherever. Yeah. But there are people who call themselves artists, but they wouldn't be considered as artists here necessarily, because they don't have a market, or they don't produce an artwork. It's very interesting to me.
But you will show artwork at the Biennale?
This is not decided yet.
Yes, maybe there are questions in the audience. The gentleman would be pleased to answer them.
Good evening. I have a question about the biennial, about the venues of the biennial. Are you planning to collaborate with local artist spaces? Because I'm asking this question because about 1.5 years ago, I traveled with a Romanian architect to Bukarest, and we visited really lots of artists and artist spaces and also architects. And I was really impressed that many who work without any financial means, that they say they continue their work anyway because they want to be committed to society and to change society. So I think that would be a very important topic to.
You are right. It's a very important topic, socially, politically, and artistically. Unfortunately, these people you talk about, and which I deeply appreciate and applaud them in Bucharest for doing such a work with no money and sometimes with no food. I'm not dramatizing, but that's the truth. How long you will survive? That's a problem. I mean, how long the state, the government, the minister, the prime minister, the mayor will ignore you, and how long the Europe will applaud you in you being in your hometown and doing something for nothing. When your own people, it's very, 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 very hard to understand this kind of situation. Romania is the only country in European Union which doesn't have support from city councils for contemporary art or from the Ministry of Culture for long period programs. The only one in European Union. Okay, now to answer the question, yes. The last biennial used artist-run spaces and independent art spaces. So probably we'll continue so or not. The next venues, the next biennial venues are not completely decided yet. And it's also a process together with the curator. So the curator curates also the spaces. Already Nicolaus Schafhausen have visited some spaces in Bucharest. He already made some decision. For example, we will use a factory, which is called Faur in Bucharest. And it's a very interesting spot, very historical and very important. It was the biggest factory in Bucharest. And we are still talking with people in different spaces. The problem is, for example, the last biennial we tried to work with some independent spaces, and by the time of the biennial they disappear. And that's very dramatic. And always I try to tell people, pay attention in Romania. A lot of very interesting spaces open up this year. I don't know how they will resist, and I don't know if they will exist next year. That's a very big problem. The city doesn't acknowledge we exist. The mayor of Bucharest acknowledges only how much is his pocket. That's it. The corruption and the way of working of politics in Romania, we still have to think about how to change this. It takes a while. Maybe it takes a new German king, or I don't know. We have to bring someone. If you have anyone available in Austria, we'll take it as well. We need. I'm sorry. we take whatever you have. If it is better, I mean, our history, it's very simple. Only when foreign people came to Romania changed things, and that's the truth. It's a historical truth. It's in the books.
Again, what I would like to, very interesting comment from you. Even if those people don't exist anymore.
Not the people does
the project and the people are not working in Bucharest itself or somewhere else. This is what it should be. It's definitely a theme of the.
It's true.
Of the upcoming biennial. So looking into what is happening there locally.
We try to.
And also what is sustainable, like.
Yes. You know, I think a biennial without any longing for sustainability makes no sense. You know? But you know, again, this example in Kassel, this is called now Dokumentarstadt, which is of course ridiculous. Yeah, so that is not sustainability. Yeah,
I don't.
No, but
I didn't mean that.
No, I know, but this is how politicians see sustainability in marketing values. No, it's about it's a huge city and it has a lot of, call it creative potential, and not only potential, also visibility. And all the people I have met there during my last visit, I thought, my God, they are so energetic, and so. They really want to explode. And it's, of course, the biennial is only one thing. There are many things happening. I find it extremely interesting. It's subversive power, in a way.
Did we answer to your question?
Journalists for Cultural Affairs, everybody on stage seems to agree that the biennial is a social and political statement.
Koschka, wir verstehen.
Again?
Danke.
Again? Do you understand me now? Yes, but now everything
just
is...
Just a second. If you keep the microphone a little bit far away, we will understand, because I don't know, the acoustic is very peculiar. And
so like this? Like this?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Well, everybody on stage seems to agree that the biennial is a political and social statement. So I wonder, if this is a political and social statement, what kind of art are you going to show? Are you going to show political and social art? Does it exist? So I haven't understood what kind of art fits into this political and social statement. And then I want to ask the moderator, Dr. Schurian, you asked what is so special about Romanian art. So I ask you, what is so special about German art? What is so special about Austrian art? But then we can stay 3 days and wait.
I think when I understood what is special on Romanian art is that it's very political, that what you said before, that you're interested only in art that is politically engaged, and I think this is what you're...
Not necessarily, and it's not,
okay.
I'm just, again, it's, I'm working out of, nothing is decided yet who will be in that biennial, so which artists will participate in the biennial. It's not decided yet, but I'm not necessarily looking only for, and I have to say it in German, is of how drauf
okay, may I say something else? When I understood what you said, when I have understood what you said, then the typical thing is that the artist works with much less money than artists do here, and maybe this is so special on Romanian art.
Yeah, it's part of, yes, it's definitely, if you look into very successful Romanian artists, Dan Peioshi, it's a very good example how with almost nothing he creates this value. This is so interesting. Also, if you even look to Brancusi, that's what he done. It's not about, I wouldn't call it more political, but it's definitely more intellectual than lots of the average art, what is happening there than in other countries, also from where we belong to.
So the second question was that we were talking about the political and the social impacts of the biennial and what kind of art you will show.
I think this is exactly what we were talking about what is...
This is a statement as a professor, not as a director of the biennial. I strongly believe, and it's a very personal, subjective point of view. As Boris Groys said, art is the only undemocratic field, so we like that. And also Boris Groys said, the biennial can be the model for a new social order because it's already exhausted and already tried. So it's very interesting to think about artists as a political activist and also an exhibition space as a debate space. So today we don't do only Sixtine Chapel, we don't just decorate walls, we don't only sell paintings. We have to make a point. We have to talk our daily problems. We talk about politics. I don't believe at all in artists, curators, theoreticians, critics, which don't know who is the president of Romania right now. I mean, a Romanian artist, but probably artists from, I don't know, Uganda, which doesn't know. But I mean, in terms of, you have to know what's going on around you. You have to take a statement. The artists cannot be insensible right now to the society. So everything we do, as a very well-known professor said, it's political, everything we do, even when we snore. So on the other hand, you asked what is so important about Austrian and German art? But I didn't really understand the question. I'm sorry?
Okay. She agreed with you. She didn't like the question.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have the same point of view.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to talk about the nationality, art, or whatever. I think we have to. Of course, sometimes it's interesting to see on the label where the artists are coming from, because you can understand better what kind of problems raised in what kind of society. So that could be interesting. But talking about this kind of general Romanian art, Austrian art, German art, I believe it's so French. I mean, because...
Okay.
When hearing about official politics, state politics or city politics not supporting the biennial, I was not so much astonished about the explanation that they don't understand contemporary art, but more about that they don't understand city marketing dynamics. And I was wondering whether there maybe is a connection that you don't understand dynamics of city marketing when you don't understand contemporary art, so you have to be trained in the international biennial business to think that city development might be in connection with that.
What city development? You talk about a normal city, or a normal mayor, or someone which does care about the city. You know, we have a tourist office. Just 2 years ago, we established a tourist office. So it's crazy. We talk about a city which people, I mean, the people have been in power, they don't really care. They don't really care. The new mayor now, they want a telegondola. So people are not very sane, honestly. I mean, they want a telegondola in Bucharest. This is the new plan of the city council. For what? We don't know, but
maybe it's necessary to tell them that they earn more when they finance art.
Never twice.
No, we did actually. It's very funny. You know what we did? Desperately to find the financing. We asked a friend of us, which is economic advisor or something like that for a bank. He said, you know about economics, make a calculation, and let's put this file on the desk of the mayor to show him how many people from outside Romania are coming and spend a lot of money in the city, like taxi, eating, drinking, whatever. Exactly what you said. He did it, so it came out. An edition of the biennial brings very few amount of money to the city, around €500,000. But this €500,000, I said, okay, if you get €500,000, give us 200. So it's a fair deal. No, they didn't. I mean, they didn't do it. So,
but the Museum of Modern Art there in Bucharest. You should, of course, also talk about this in a way, because that is. They have no money at all. They can do 1 or 2 exhibitions a year. And even if the Museum of Modern Art can't function as a tourist spot, yeah, then definitely not a biennial. Yeah, this is. I think we should first start with the initiatives which are there permanently. You have a permanent room. Probably you should talk about this just briefly. You are a little institution, yeah, a small institution, but visible. the pavilion, it's an institution. It works like a small Kunstverein for the city itself. You know, there are only private initiatives which function.
No.
No need.
Okay. No more questions. Then we will meet next year, same time, April, because when does the Biennale open? 24th of May?
24th of May, it's opening, yeah.
So, next year, what is today, 21st of April, 20?
15 months, 13 months we see us in Bukarest. Before there will be a lot happening here. At the Kunsthalle Vienna, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We want to say thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you, Der Standard, for making this happen.
We will promote like hell for the Biennale.
Thank you.
I hope so. It's a main newspaper here, so we will use that. Thank you for this. Thank you to Romanian Cultural Institute for being here, and Nicolaus Schafhausen for accepting this very, very dramatic appointment. Because it's probably the hardest edition of the Biennial from the financial point of view. I mean, imagine one thing, he was appointed in April last year. January last year, sorry. He came to see the Biennial, whatever, and the fact, to meet the former curator, the fact is, we will know the budget probably at the end of the year, but he has to work on this. So it's very complicated.
Yeah, but we will do some fundraising from our side as well. You know, this is also another advantage for the Kunsthalle, for the city of Vienna, or for Austria. It's a European collaboration. And it might also interesting for the Austrian government. There is for the cultural sections of the government, and there is a responsibility towards those areas in Europe.
I want to thank also Mr. Kohn. I heard that you will leave Vienna, which is it's not good news.
Thank you very, very much for having me. It was, I'm convinced, not only about sharing the spotlight, but also about sharing responsibility in terms of this building effort of the next biennial. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking very much forward to see how this will develop. And I'm convinced that we can advocate together from here, from Vienna,
to promote
the next phase of the project.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.